to send so many soldiers to arrest one unarmed man? Probably he remembered the past history, when his father was chasing after Elijah for a long time and couldn't find him. So just to make sure that Elijah will be at his place, he sent the captain with 50 men. So he calls out to Elijah in domineering and sneering tones, "Man of God, the king wants you on the double. Get down from the hill and come with us." You know, the captain is trained to give orders. Captain is not trained to give a nice and soft invitation. So this was what happened. And Elijah stays put and calmly replies, "You say I am a man of God, but it seems as you do not really believe that." Well, friends, I think that very often it also happens in our life, that we know something, but we don't truly believe, because our lifestyle, our words, our behavior is not telling that we know by heart, or that we know really what we believe. And then Elijah, in a bold way, he said, "Well, here is a proof. If I am a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and incinerate you and your 50 men." Just imagine. Just imagine. Some people say, "Well, I don't like Old Testament because it's full of this terrible history, terrible story." Well, this captain came and he was annihilated. Immediately, lightning struck that was so hot, the captain and his 50 men ceased to exist. Now, there must have been some onlookers, because the king soon heard what had happened. He didn't take time to reflect. He didn't take time to say, "Well, probably I made a wrong decision. Probably I sent a harsh man and their behavior was not good." He didn't think about how one man could kill a captain and 50 fully armed soldiers. He just ordered another captain with another 50 men to go and arrest Elijah. Can you imagine the dynamic of this situation? If something is going wrong, some people say, "Well, I will try again," even more secure in a more severe way. This captain did not learn from the fate of his predecessor. He approached Elijah with the same arrogant attitude as the previous captain. He was also not trained to be nice and gentle. And he just demanded, "King requested, and you have to come with us." Again, he called Elijah a man of God and commanded him to go with him to the king. We can find this interesting story in the book of Kings, the 2nd King, 1st chapter. And again, the same situation happened. Elijah replied in the same way. And lightning struck from heaven and killed the captain and all his armed colleagues. Just imagine what the advertiser wrote in those days, the following day. A 50 people killed instantly. It is obvious that King Ahaziah got his position from family connection and not from aptitude. By sending innocent people in that way and being confronted with this terrible incidents, he didn't learn much. After hearing what happened to the second captain, he sends a third captain with another 50. Well, we can say, well, what was the price of human life for this king? Just imagine 50 men, 50 families, hundreds of kids. It seems that he would have kept on sending men to their death until he had no army left. It's like a gambler. Another one, another 50, another 50, another... Do you know those people living around us? The gamblers. The King Ahaziah was a gambler of human lives. There is a definition of insanity that King Ahaziah fits very well. You know what's insanity? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting the different results. Insanity. Why did he think that after suffering the loss of more than 100 men, he would be successful continuing to use the same methods? Can you see madness in the mind of man who is living apart of God? That's madness. That's a wasting of human life. It's not appreciating what to being a man means. Elijah is still sitting on the same hill in the same spot when the third captain approaches with his 50 soldiers. This captain is much wiser than his predecessors. He has to follow the orders of the king, but he is not about to repeat the same stupid mistakes of the captains before him. So just imagine, before saying one word, he falls on his knees before Elijah and says in pleading tones, "Man of God, please have respect for my life and to the lives of my men. I know about the lightning that destroys the previous companies, and I do not want that to happen to me." He was caring for his life, and he was caring for the life of his men. Would you please be willing to come with me to see the king? I'm pretty sure that there was a difference in the wording between those previous two captains and the third one. Would you please be willing to come with me to see the king? Now it's interesting that God immediately spoke to Elijah and said, and look at this, you can now go to deliver your message to the king. You will be safe and no harm will come to you. And Elijah went. Notice in this story how intimately Elijah knew God. He did not have to pray, "Dear Lord, if it is your will, may fire come down from heaven and incinerate those men." He knew instantly